G'day gamers, I'm ranting Water and welcome back to Subsistence. This is our deaD is deaD perma-death playthrough. It's been a while since I last played, probably about nearly 2 weeks since I last actually logged into this game. So it'll take me a little while to catch up to where we were. I believe we're up to day 25. And I'm not sure if I showed in the last video, but you can see I've started to expand the base out a little bit. I've placed these wood foundations. And in the BCU here, I've crafted another solar panel. Oh, I just dropped my pickaxe. We'll pick that back up. So I'll put this solar panel in my hotbar and we'll head up onto the roof and place that next to the others. So that should give us plenty of power charging through the day. Let's just put our pickaxe back in our hotbar. Looks like it's warm enough now to head out. I can see a bag or two bags in the distance actually. One just there, another one over there. And there was a wolf roaming around just over that way somewhere. Oh, there he is there. So let's head over and collect those two bags and probably do a little bit of hunting. As you might have seen just then, I also have a steak in my inventory which I'll be eating very soon before it spoils. Got a bear up there and a wolf. The hunter's camp is just over this hill, so I need to be careful around here. There we go. So let's just go back to that big tree and collect up a bit of wood. Okay, let's head off and see what we can find. Like I was saying in the intro, I think we're up to around day 25. So we've survived for a long time in this game without dying. So I'm getting to the point now where I'm fairly keen to start afresh. There has been a few updates to the game since I started playing this playthrough, including a hardcore mode, which sounds interesting. Now the hardcore mode is a permadeath mode, which is how I like to play the games anyway, but apparently it also increases the ability for the animals to sense you, so it makes it a little bit more dangerous. Going to grab this box. I'm going to ignore that level 2 wolf. Taking a few risks. Yeah, so when the game starts it's a lot more difficult than it is at this point. I'm pretty well established now. I've got a steady supply of food from the tomatoes and the chickens I've been catching. I've got plenty of ammunition, so hunting once a day to get that protein from the meat isn't too difficult. I can afford to waste a little bit of ammo doing that. And of course at the start of the game you can't afford to do any of this. So really it's a matter of taking your time at the start, being very cautious until you get yourself established. But I think I've showed that you can survive in this game if you do play cautiously. Now, I'm not trying to say I'm some great game player or anything. The way I survive is by avoiding conflict as much as possible. I've watched some other people's videos. I think I mentioned Unknown HD's video of tips for this game in the past, and he showed some footage of how he does raids on the NPC hunter camps, and man, I wish I could shoot and aim and attack in general half as well as he does. I mean, the way he just gets headshots constantly is just something that I don't have the skill to do, unfortunately. So I play things in a different style, but that doesn't mean that my style is better than his or worse than his. Mine is purely about survival. What do I have to do to stay alive? Surviving isn't necessarily the ultimate goal when you're playing these games. It's really up to the player how they want to play. Some people like the excitement and the adventure of these types of games, these open world sandbox games, where you can pretty much do as you like. You can survive how you like. You can build if you want. You can create big structures, or you can just build into the side of a cave, or you can build the most basic utilitarian structure like I did, which is just basically a square box to fit all my facilities in. Really, it's up to the player how they want to play the game, and no one way is right or wrong. Don't know how I got into this conversation, but anyway. So basically what I'm saying is that you can play this game defensively and survive, or you can just go out and have fun. The game allows you to do either. But like I was saying, in the next playthrough, I will probably try out the hardcore mode. It's probably more suited to my playstyle, where because of the increased difficulty, you would have to avoid conflict more. I mean, the other downside to the way I play, where it's purely about surviving the day, it's not about having big adventures or anything, it's the challenge of survival. Well, the downside to that is that it can make for a pretty boring video. And quite repetitive, because basically all I'm doing each day is roaming around and avoiding conflict for most of the time, and just trying to gather up loot. Whereas if you play in a more adventuring style, you'll probably spend more time harassing the hunters, maybe building multiple bases around different areas just to get some variety in your scenery. There's a lot of options if you want to play that way. And a lot of those options can make the game more fun than purely just trying to get by. Well, I'm not seeing many bags around now. I got a fair few in the first couple minutes when I left my camp, but I guess my luck has run out for this day. And there's another locked box. Unfortunately, I don't have a lockpick. Now, let's see if I run smack dab into that hunter's camp that I tried to attack the other day. The one that I had a big cry about because I was sure the game was cheating. I couldn't miss all those shots, surely. There's a level 3 wolf just up there. There's a bear there. Let's see if we can go around this way a little bit. Yeah, of course I went back and checked that video where I was complaining about having shot the... Is that the hunter's camp? Yeah, that'd be the hunter's camp up there. So I'm just going to be a little bit careful. I want to avoid that wolf. And there is a hunter right there. So I was complaining a lot about the gunplay in this game. I shot that hunter 12 times. He didn't go down. He was still shooting at me, and then the bear came along and scared me off and just ignored him. Wah, wah, wah. Of course, when I went back and looked at the video, and I actually listened to the shots rather than just what I thought should hit, turns out only, well, I know 3 of the shots hit. 1 rifle, 1 shotgun, and 1 pistol round all hit. And I think they were all headshots, so really I still think he should have died. But considering how many shots I actually made against him, I can't believe how many I missed. So I guess that at least partly has to come down to my poor aim. And there's another locked crate. It's like the game's telling me something. It's teasing me for not having a lockpick. I'll bet if I did have half a dozen lockpicks in my inventory, none of these crates would be showing up. I think the problem I was having was I was aiming too high. So I need to adjust my aim down a little bit. I thought that was gunfire for a moment, but it's the hunters building or expanding their base more. Alright, let's head back towards my base and see if there's any animals around to kill. Alright, here goes. Ah, that was a bad shot. Shot him in the butt. Yeah, that didn't go great. That's okay. Can't complain too much. He bit me once but didn't do too much damage. And I'm not bleeding. And I got a steak from him. Now let's go over and see if we can get this bag. Just reload my weapons while we're walking over there. Our tomato plants are ready, so we'll collect these now. I want the lockpick, so we'll craft one of those. And our lockpick is ready. So I'm going to leave this video here. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.